the two primary features for Screencastify that most people will find themselves using it for during distance learning are, one, for teachers to record either website tutorials or short content lessons for their students, especially for them to do during asynchronous learning, and so on. And it's a very easy to use screen recording tool with some limited built-in editing capacity as well, so that you can do a couple of quick fixes to your videos before you send them out to your students, or even to families if you wanted to send a tutorial of some kind or a video introduction to your families. The other main use of Screencastify is with a brand new feature they have that is actually a supplemental tool that has its own license, and they have a free version and a paid version. So in our district, we're only able to use the free version of the supplemental piece, but the supplemental piece is called Screencastify Submit, and it's another way that you can easily have students send you a recorded video assignment. They don't need to log into anything. They don't need to install anything. They just click on your link and start recording, and it sends it to you. So it's even easier than Flipgrid. However, it's not like Flipgrid because it's not designed to put all the videos in a place where all the students can watch and listen to them and so on and so forth. But if you just need them to do a quick video recording of their assignment or talking about their work or whatever it is, Screencastify has a tool that can do that. So we're going to look at both of those features today. The nice thing about this is it's actually not that robust a tool. There's a few features. So it doesn't take very long to kind of hit the end of the road with Screencastify, because it's not like it has layers and layers and layers and layers of tools and features and so on. It's pretty simple. How many of you have already recorded your own videos, either website tutorials, video lessons for students, and so on? Nice, thank you. Only one, okay. Julie, what did you use?
So I have used Screencastify. Yeah, so I use that, and I use like a DocCam and then my desktop, and I do both.
And of course, I haven't tried it with a DocCam yet. I mean, it should work pretty well because you just choose that as the camera, right?
It was challenging because my particular DocCam is an older or a newer version, and it needed a different cord, and just getting all the components in place was very challenging.
Because if they're not in place, it can't see it as a camera. And if it doesn't see it as a camera, it can't choose it for the camera input, and then you choose your microphone for your audio input. So that's even tricky. I know teachers have been finding it kind of hard in Zoom as well. Like, you know, getting the document camera to work with Zoom seems to depend heavily on what brand of document camera you have and what computer you have and so on, unfortunately. Okay, so you actually might be more expert at this than I am. So
sure about that.
I don't know. I've done a few, but I haven't really tried to bring in a document camera with it. So I've done quite a few videos, but all right. So that's what we're going to be doing. So you have in the chat, you already have the link to the slide deck. Go ahead if you'd like to open that up, save it to your Google Drive, so that you have access to any links, because I often link like their help pages and all that kind of stuff into these slide decks. And I will be putting this video recording into the slide deck as well after I get a chance to process it and get it uploaded and so on. So I have one more training after this one, and it's being recorded also. So we'll be busy with recordings. All right. I'm going to share my screen and bring the Chrome window back to the front. There we go. All right. So as I said, we'll be looking at Screencastify. Now this is a Chrome extension. So Tammy, I'm really glad we got your Chrome back up in order because you were going to need it for this too. So Screencastify is already available to you as long as you are signed into your Chrome browser with your San Juan account. It's already been purchased, it's taken care of, and you have it. And again, for Screencastify Submit, your students don't need to have it. They don't need anything for that to work. So as a Chrome extension, that means that when you are on the internet using Chrome browser and when you are signed in with your San Juan account, your extensions are available to you, and they are mini programs that provide additional features that go beyond what a web browser can usually do, right? Usually a web browser is like, well, you can scan the internet and maybe you can save your bookmarks. But extensions allow you to add other functionalities to your web browsing experience. So in this case, one of the things you can add is the ability to make these videos just by going to your web, to Chrome browser and turning on the Screencastify extension and clicking on it. So it will capture everything on your screen if you choose to do the browser tab or desktop. If it's webcam only, then it will just be you and your face. And then it will also capture your microphone. And if you're like me and you have an external microphone, you can select that one instead of the built-in one, or whatever microphones it notices. You can select the one you want to use, and then you hit the record button. So it will capture what you're doing on your screen as long as you chose browser tab or desktop. So if you click on something, it will show what you clicked on. If you are using a tool that lets you annotate or draw or type or write, it will capture all of that. One caveat to that is if you say browser tab, so it has these three options, browser tab, desktop, or webcam only. If you say browser tab, it will only record that tab. So if you're in a Google Slides presentation, and you put a link in your slide presentation to another website, and you choose to record your browser tab so that you can put your slides full screen and make a video of them, when you click the link in your Google Slides to go to that other website, it will still keep recording your voice, but what it will show on the screen is the original Google slide because you are in that tab and you told Screencastify to only record that tab. So when it opened the link and it opens those in a new tab, Screencastify won't see that new page. It will still hear you and it will just stay on that Google slide that you were on. So I often prefer to do desktop so that no matter what I click on or where I go, Screencastify just follows me. So we're going to record a short video. So the first thing to see is a reminder of where Screencastify lives. So with all of your extensions, it lives up here in your extensions bar. Your puzzle piece is your extensions manager. It's kind of like your quick manager. It's not the full extensions manager, but it's a quick access. So if you are signed in with your San Juan account and you don't see the orange arrow, which actually has a video camera inside it, but it's hard to see. It's an orange arrow with a white video camera. You don't see that here. The first thing you do after confirming that you're signed in here and your sync is on is you click on your gray puzzle piece and find Screencastify in the list and make sure that the push pin is blue. The push pins change colors just by clicking on them. So now that I clicked on it and made it white, it's not here anymore. This is useful if you're someone like me who has a lot of extensions. I don't need all of them on all of the time. So I can choose which ones that I'm using right now that I want to have on. And in the meantime, I have access to all these others anytime I need them. So now that it's here and I see that it's on, I'm going to click it. And it's going to let me choose what kind of recording I'd like to do. So I'm going to do desktop. Whether or not I would like to embed my webcam. So I have chosen to embed my webcam. We'll see what it does. And which microphone I'd like. And my preferred microphone is this external. It's called a Yeti. So I'm going to keep it there. I like using that microphone. When I hit record, there will be a couple of things that happen. The first thing that happens is that there will be a very small gray toolbar that appears in the lower left corner of my screen. It is the toolbar for Screencastify, and it has the usual things like record, pause, stop, but it also has, mainly because I turned it on in my settings menu, Okay, I was kidding. That's not where I did it. It also has, there it is, show more options. Drawing tools are turned on. So if I wanted to, I could make a recording where I am annotating while I record. There is a limit to that because, as I mentioned, that toolbar will be living here in the lower left corner. But as you probably recall, if you decide that you want to put your Google Slides full screen, they take over pretty much everything on the screen. And so the toolbar for Screencastify ends up hiding behind your full screen Google Slides, and now you can't access the toolbar. So I don't make use of the drawing tools feature as often as I thought I would, but it would be particularly good, for example, if you're doing a tour of a single page website and you want to circle like where some of the buttons are that the kids are going to need to click on and so on. The other thing to remember is if you are annotating your screen while you record and you click on something else, either a new slide or you click on a page in a website, you circled some stuff and then you click to go to another page of the website, those circles will still be on the screen in the original location, which may or may not be a good thing on the next page. So I have my countdown. I can adjust that. I have my drawing tools. I'm going to hit record. It's turning on my webcam in the lower right corner. It's checking which screen I'd like to record. So I'm going to say share. And then it's going to normally, there we go, gives me my countdown. And there's my toolbar. So I just want you to see here in the lower left corner is my Screencastify toolbar. So if I want to pause my recording, it knows like I'm going to cough and I don't want the cough on the recording. So I can pause the recording, cough, and resume. The play button is actually resume. I can end the recording. I can restart it and just say, I already know that's trash. I don't even want to take the time to stop it and then tell Screencastify it's garbage. I'm just going to restart my recording. I have a mouse pointer. I have a pen option because I asked for some drawing tools, right? I have highlighting clicks turned on so that when I click on something, it's a little bigger. You can see what I'm clicking on. And a focus mouse is optional, but I don't have that on right now. The gray box is what I have on. So I'm going to resume recording. Watch what happens to this toolbar in the lower left corner when I hit present. Oh, Screencastify fixed it. Oh, look at that. Nice update, Screencastify. Okay, so this used to disappear and you didn't have your tools anymore. So you do have a hide tools option if you know you don't want them. For example, you know you don't need them, you're not going to do any drawing on it, and they're hiding stuff that appears in the lower left corner of your screen anyway. You can choose to hide your tools. Just know that when you choose to hide your tools, there will be a little bit of a gap where you end your video, but then you have to end the slide. You haven't stopped the recording on Screencastify because you couldn't get to the tools. So if you hide your tools, you'll stop talking, go back to Screencastify, stop the recording, and then you'll go into and then you'll trim the end off where there's those extra few seconds of gap between when you were finished and when you were actually able to stop the recording. So notice that while I'm doing this, I click and it's going to save that click. If I want to open this slide deck in another tab, it's going to open that and it's still recording. So I told it to record my entire screen. So it's recording everything I'm doing. When I'm done, I'm going to first hit pause, then I'm going to hit stop. That's how I tell Screencastify that I'm finished with my recording. When I hit stop, it will open up my full Screencastify account. It will start playing the video immediately. It always plays in mute, but you can click to unmute so that you can also hear yourself. You should definitely listen to yourself. I know you don't want to. I hate to listen to my own recordings also, but you should make sure your audio is good. So, oops. So you click to unmute. So I just want you to see here on the lower left. So the audio is good. And you'll notice a couple of things. It immediately opens up the option to share just with a shareable link right now. Like it's like, I'm ready. I can share this puppy right now. So you can get that link if you'd like. It's in your Screencastify folder in your Google Drive. You can share it directly to Google Classroom for those of you who are using Google Classroom. Excuse me. You can publish it to YouTube and then put that link somewhere. You can download it to your computer as an MP4, especially if you're someone who likes to do fancy editing and you have other tools to do that. So you can download it. There's even more options. You can send it in an email, generate a QR code, and so on. So those are initially, they are just right there for you. If you know you don't have any editing you need to do, you can just take care of it. And actually, even if you have a little bit of editing to do, you still have this option. Because, for example, I can move my cursor, let me make this mute again, move my cursor to the end, hit play. And I realize, oh, you know what? I didn't need that part where it goes from the big screen to the little screen. So I'm going to take I'm going to pull this all the way to the end. I'm going to take the scissors and I'm going to drag it back. There we go. And I'm going to play that. Now you should always play it and check that you didn't cut yourself off mid-sentence. And you can save the trim. You can also trim from the beginning. So if you know there's some extra, you can trim off as much as you want. Right? Oops, sorry, my mouse likes to stick. And then you can say save trim. And it says, now hold on, that is going to replace your original video. So if you just made a mistake and you came in mid-sentence or you cut it off at the end mid-sentence, that's the video you're going to have. And we're going to pretend I listened to it and I checked it and it's amazing and it's awesome. And I'm going to say, yeah, it's fine. Trim it. So now it's trimming. And that's helpful, again, if, for example, you needed to put it full screen and the tools weren't available yet. And so you can trim off that part at the beginning where you're opening your slide deck and making it go full screen like this in presentation mode, and you didn't want any of that beginning stuff there. You can just quickly get rid of it with this scissor tool. The other thing to notice, I highly recommend that you immediately get in the habit of changing the title of your video from untitled to demo of whatever it is that you're doing. October 5, 2020, right? So that when you go to your account, you don't just have a whole bunch of untitled video with a date, because you're going to have to remember what all those are. Again, you can still share. You should see, notice on the bottom right, mine says record unlimited, meaning you're using the licensed version with all of the features of the Screencastify recorder, which include the next thing I'm going to show you, and that is the editor. So this part just trims off the beginning or trims off the end, but you do have a couple other editing options if you need them by opening the editor. Very important thing to know before you do that. When you open it in the editor, it makes a new copy of the video. So the one, let's say you need to cut out some problem that happened in the middle. Your dog started barking and you had to re-record a segment and you didn't want to start over. So you just let him finish barking. And then you resaid whatever you were saying before, and you knew you were just going to go in the editor and cut out the piece where the dog was barking. It's going to create a new version of the video that's different from this version of the video, demo of Screencastify. It's going to make a whole new copy. So when you get ready to share it with your learners, make sure you share the correct one. So we're going to go into edit. You should see edit unlimited. Okay. And that's because this is one of the paid features that's available, or one of the features that's available with the license that we purchased. What you'll notice here is you have a little bit more robust of a timeline here so that you can see a little bit better kind of where you're at. You have a text tool. You have scissors. You have crop or clip, sorry, select a clip, and you have another way to select a clip. So they all basically say select a clip, but it's a little bit different from that. So let's experiment a little bit with this. First of all, let's pretend, hold on a second, it's being a little persnickety here. Oh, that's right. And this, okay, so on the right-hand side, this zoom tool is helpful if you have a video and there are some kind of minute changes. When you can zoom in to get really, really, really specific kind of increments of time. So what used to be see how it only has 4 or 5 clips here? Oops. If I come out this way, it's the same video. The video didn't get longer. It's still only 1 minute and 27 seconds, but it's zoomed way in on the timeline so that I can get very precise with where I want to cut or add something or do something. This yellow outline means this whole thing is considered one clip. And if it's one clip, there's not much you can do, or anything you do will affect the whole clip. So let's go back to the beginning of the clip, and I'm going to take it out of its zoom a little bit because it's zoomed in a little too much. Okay. If I wanted to trim something out of the middle, I can't right now because it's one clip. So the first thing I need to do, let's say I know that there was a problem right here. Oops. So I'm going to move my cursor to where the problem is. And then hold on 1 second. I don't want to crop. Okay, so crop clip. So in this case, it's saying if I know I want to crop and I want this, I can draw a rectangle. Oh, I can crop this clip so that this is a new feature. Actually, they didn't have this just a little bit ago. Notice how I can choose what it's going to show. Now, it's going to do that though for the entire clip. This whole thing is one clip. So if I do that, it's only going to show this part of the screen the whole time. And so that's going to see how it's going to not show everything I need. So I'm going to reset that because the thing I want to do first, hold on a second. It's having a little bit of trouble. Oh, great. Hold on. It just had a little hissy fit. Hold on a second. It won't let me out of the, come on, reset. Sorry, I don't want to crop that one there. But the reset button has decided right now that it doesn't work and my mouse keeps sticking. Okay, hold on. I'm going to close the editor and I'm going to reopen it because it's misbehaving right now. So let me close that. And I'm going to reopen the editor. I probably now, it automatically saved that first one so I can go into my account and delete it. But okay, now let's cut. Notice what it did there. Now I've got clip number 1. This is highlighted in yellow, and clip number 2. This is now a second clip. This will allow me to do some things now. And I can kind of expand. If I realize I clipped it in the wrong place, I can fix that over here. Usually you'll want to play these back. You'll want to make sure that your clip ends without it being mid-sentence or with some kind of awkward transition. But now let's say this frame, this is where there was a problem. So I now want to cut it here. Now I have clip number 1, clip number 2 in yellow, clip number 3. Here's where the dog was barking. I can just hit my backspace key and delete that and it's gone. And I can take it right out of the middle. If that was a mistake, I have an undo button in the upper right-hand corner and I can just replace that. Here's the other nice thing kind of that you can do. With this clip, I can, for example, add text. Now, I don't find that their add text tool is particularly robust, but you can do a couple of things. Look for the Screencastify toolbar in the lower left corner. And then I can outline that. Oops, select all of it. I can outline that or highlight it. There we go. And I have it left, center. See, it tends to, there we go, center rather. I can put it in the center. I can set it up to the top of the screen. So I can't drag it. I wish I could drag the text note where I want it, but I can't. But I can decide if I want it at the top or bottom of the screen or right in the middle of the screen. That's actually a recent improvement. You didn't used to be able to do anything at all. So now at least you can decide if it should be in the center, left or right, and if it should be at the top, center or bottom. Okay, now that text note is showing up right here in my timeline, and I can choose how long it is visible for. I can have it visible for the entire video, a split second, or anything in between. So here's what it would look like if I hit play. Let me put the cursor back here. You'll see that, oops. There we go. Hold on a second. I don't see the time bar moving. All right, it looks like, oh, there we go. There we go. Let's try that again. If I fixed it. Okay. Well, look at that. Nice update, Screencastify. Okay, so this used to disappear and you didn't have your... So there was how it looked for just a split second. If I want it to last longer, I can actually have the text note last longer. If I want to put a different text note, I have to have the area have its own frame. I can put one text note in this frame. I can make it last more than one frame. But if I do that, I can't put another text note in, I don't think. Oh, it will let me know. So now I can put nope, it's only that one. So you can only put one text note per frame, but you can make a text note last for longer than a frame. But if I know that I want to have this text note remind people to look for the toolbar, and over here, I want to remind people to stop the recording by hitting the stop button, those two text notes have to be in a different frame in the video. That's the biggest thing with that editing. The crop feature, again, will let you crop down your screen. So if there's something that was showing up on the top or bottom of your screen that was present in the whole video and you actually don't need it, you can crop it out, and you can do that by frame as well. And then the zoom tool, there's nothing really exciting here to look at, but the zoom tool will let you zoom in, right? So you can pick a section. Can I see an example? This doesn't look that great, but let's do that. And you can see it's not that robust. I can't really control, like I can't make it just zoom in on this line here and the line above. It has to have all this white space. I can move it. Sorry, my mouse keeps sticking. Come on. I can move it and I can adjust it by corner. Although it's decided now, there we go. I can adjust it by corners. So I'll show you what this looks like. It's going to be a little weird. I can zoom in on just that corner. Come on. Oh, if that's what I want to do. Hold on a second. There we go. So if I just want that to happen, notice the little zoom in on my timeline. I can't adjust how long that is. So I'm going to play this now. I'm going to put my cursor here, actually a little bit closer. I'm going to put it here. We're going to play. If you know you don't want them. For example, you know you don't need them. You're not going to do anything by drawing on it. And then it zoomed back out. Now you might have noticed when I went here to do it, now I can drag it. And when I do another one, because it's not letting me fix that one. So when I do another zoom, it gave me some transition options. Here we go. How long do I want it to spend zooming in? And how long do I want it to spend zooming out? So this is helpful. Like if you have something on the screen that you want them to pay attention to, you can actually have the tool zoom into that particular object on the screen at a particular moment and then zoom back out to go through the rest of your presentation. Okay. There are also some times where teachers might use it as a transition thing between slides. They might put the zoom on their video and say, you know what? I want it to zoom in on my video. I am finding it a little awkward, but I want it to zoom in on my video. And then I want it to zoom out when we get to the next piece. So we're done talking about all the stuff on this slide. So it's going to zoom in on me, and then it's going to go back out to the video as I click to go to the next slide. So you could use it for that as well. Let's put the cursor back here, hit play. So you do have a hide tools option if you know you don't want them. For example, You know you don't need them. You're not going to do any drawing on it, and they're hiding stuff that appears in the lower left corner of your screen anyway. You
right. And then it zooms back out. So you can control where it zooms into, how long it stays zoomed in there, and then when it goes back out. Okay. So that's your editing thing. Here's the important piece. You might have noticed that unlike regular Screencastify, which was very kind and gave you copy the shareable link, share from here to Google Classroom, publish to YouTube, blah, blah, blah. The editor, the Zoom tools are always in my way. The editor doesn't have that. There's no YouTube, there's no Google Classroom, there's nothing. What happened? You have to click the export button. And then you have two choices. Which one you pick depends on where you ultimately want your video to go. Export MP4 is good if you want to upload your video to YouTube, for example, because you're going to need to get your video from there. Oddly enough, YouTube is a Google product, but YouTube will not get videos out of Google Drive. So if you want to upload a video to YouTube, export this as an MP4. If you just want to share it from Google Drive, for example, through Google Classroom later and so on, just export it to Google Drive. Now that you're saving it, you finally have a chance to name it. That's also different from regular Screencastify, where you had the untitled thing here. You could click on it, you could rename it right then. So demo Screencastify editing, right? And then I can download that. When it's done downloading, I can take that and do whatever I need to do with it. I can put it into a better video editor. I can upload it to YouTube, or I can do whatever it is that I need to do. So it will begin downloading now, and it's going to give me a chance to decide where I want it. I just kind of want it on the desktop and then we're good. So it's now saving that. So are there any questions about recording and editing and saving and sharing videos with Screencastify first? And hold on, I can't see your faces really, all of you. So, well, maybe that is everybody. No, missing one person. There we go. No questions.
So in the
far, so good?
So in the beginning, you said that we could use this though, and besides the way that you just showed us, that the kids, the students, they can just start talking and privately submit it to us.
That's different. So we're going to move to that next.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yes, it's a different look. It's actually a different product from Screencastify.
Right.
And we're going to move to that next. This one is more for the teacher side, for you making your videos or greeting videos or an explanation of something for families or for students, or a lesson that you want to record for them. A lot of the lessons, if you've used the lessons in the lesson bank, the teachers that chose to record their own videos often used Screencastify to do it. Okay. All right. So that's Screencastify. Julie, you've used this before. Were there any tips you've seen that I didn't touch on?
No, I think you've covered it well. Yeah.
Okay.
I just had to use I used an iPad as a doc camera because mine didn't work. So I don't know if anyone's using something like that, but that's an option to use for doc cam if yours doesn't link up right or whatever.
And I don't know if, were you able to put it on some kind of stand? I had like a thing in my using Zoom that has become a handbook now, but the handbook on how to use Zoom has a thing for like how to use a phone or an iPad as a doc camera, like, brace it, put some books below and books on top, get the camera over here,
Yeah, it's quite a process, but yeah, I did get a stand that I could use with it.
Okay, it's a lot better than the original. Like, well, okay, if you got nothing else, just pile some books, put the iPad between it, pile some books on top of that to hold it flat. Right. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's move into the next piece. Oops. Okay, hold on a second. This is whoop, whoop. All right. Hold on. So what we're going to do is I do have a video tutorial in here that you can return to later. And then you'll have a chance at the end today. I think we'll actually have enough time if you end up wanting to play with it. You'll be able to kind of turn off your Zoom microphone, try doing a sample recording and see how that goes for you. I do recommend, for example, deciding what you want to record ahead of time. Open up whatever it is you're going to be focusing on and have it as close to ready to go as possible. That will save you so much kind of energy at the end of the process when it's not just when it's time to start your video, but also when it's time to finish it up and share it with people. So you launch it from Screencastify. I gave you a reminder of needing to be signed into Chrome. If you don't see your Screencastify arrow, click the puzzle piece and make sure that Screencastify has the blue push pin, not the white push pin. And then just choose your screen and hit share. And I gave you a reminder of your settings and your controls. All right, so this is just slides of going through what we have talked about. Also, because we talk about copying and pasting the link into Seesaw or Google Doc or an email, your shortcuts for a PC, it's Control C to copy, Control V to paste. For a Mac, it's Command C and Command V to paste. All right. Whew. So Screencastify Submit is a feature of Screencastify that actually is like a second product that the Screencastify team makes. So in your slide deck, you actually have the help page just for Submit. You also have a little 3-minute getting started video, and we're going to try one. At least if you're willing to, you can try one. So you can see what this is like for students, because it is really, really easy for students. So I'm going to put this link in the chat in a second, but I'm going to talk you through what it's going to do first. So when you click on the link, it's going to open here where it says demo assignment. Hold on. And then it says to make sure you turn on your mic and webcam. So you might need to give permissions. Those will probably appear in the top part of your screen, normally to the left-hand side, and you'll have to allow the microphone and the camera. Once you've hit turn on your mic and webcam, you'll see the instructions again. Introduce yourself to me. Tell me one thing you are proud of so far this fall, and hit the record button. So give yourself a minute to think. What are you going to say? Hit record. That will bring you here. You'll be recording. When you're done, you'll pause the recording and it'll say you're almost done, but you really should check that video and make sure it looks good. So you play your video, you listen to your video. If it's good, you hit the submit button. If it's not good, you start over. After you hit submit, it says, nice work. Your video was submitted successfully. So I'm going to put a link in the chat. You'll turn on your mic and webcam. You'll record your thing. You'll hit submit. You should get a confirmation. Okay. You might want to turn off your microphone in Zoom. Otherwise, you're all going to hear each other trying to record their videos and it will be distracting. So head back to Zoom. I'm going to put a link in the chat anyway. If you're not in Zoom now, and turn off your mic if it's not off already in Zoom. You'll need your mic on in Screencastify, and go ahead and try that assignment. I'll give you about 3 minutes. think everybody's probably pretty close to done. Okay, all right. I should have paused the recording for that. That was silly. Oh, well, now we have that extra couple of minutes on the recording. Okay. So now that you have recorded your assignment, which is exactly what your students would do if you chose to use this, we'll talk a little bit how to make that assignment, and then we'll take a look at what happened to all of your assignments and where I can find them. Excuse me. So in your Screencastify account, there was actually a section we haven't talked about yet. There was a menu icon. Those 3 lines are kind of the universal symbol now for menu. So let me go out of here. Let me go back to Screencastify so you can see where this came from. So we talked a little bit about what kind of recording to do and what kind of equipment you might have. The 3 lines are right here. And so I can click on that and get to all those recordings I've ever made. So let me show you that in case you need to get to an old recording. Notice I gave these some titles so that I know what they are and so on. And then I can get to the editor. If I want to go straight to the editor, I can go there and I can actually upload a new video or keep working on my old video. It will always load the last video you were working on. Notice that those videos that you edited do not appear in my recordings. And the reason for that is, if you recall, the videos that you edited with the editor have to be exported. They get saved either to your hard drive or your Google Drive. They do not save in Screencastify. This is also where you can delete recordings that you don't need. So you can take care of those there. This menu is always available to you. So you have some additional options. And here you have your submit button. So this is how you can get to that Screencastify submit area where you can create the kind of assignment I just created for you. Now notice you have the free version. So you are limited to how many active assignments you can have happening at one time. If you create an assignment for one class, I taught secondary. So, and I also always had 4 or 5 preps every year. So it was very often that I had different assignments for my different classes, most of the time actually. So you would have to actually close this assignment in order to be able, now it's closed and now I can create a new assignment and have it be active to give it to another class. So one of the limitations, because we don't actually have a license for Screencastify Submit, we have a license for the Screencastify Recorder, and you get to use the free version of Submit if you would like to try it out. So if you make multiple assignments, just know that you'll have to close an assignment in order to make a new assignment and have it be assigned to your students as an active one. Obviously, this is something that sites or departments can choose to purchase. Individual teachers can choose to purchase the upgrade. If they want an unlimited number of open assignments, you could go to Donors Choose. You could, see if your PTA might give you a grant if you're interested in that. But I recommend just trying it out by toggling between which assignments are open and closed until you decide if you really love it. So you can create, this is the shareable URL. Remember, I gave you a link and just said, go here. Record your assignment. So I get that when I create the assignment, but let's say I created it last week and now I'm giving it to you today. I can go to my submit, my Screencastify submit from my menu, right? That opens up over here. I can get that link and share it out. Now, if I share it out while it's closed, the link will not work and the students won't be able to edit anything. And in fact, I'm going to open it back up because I'm using this to demo with teachers. So I'm going to open that back up. So I'm going to take you actually back to my slide deck because it's going to take you through how to create those assignments. So you go to your menu, click on submit. We have the free version. So you're going to click on new assignment. And then it's going to ask you to choose a type. Do you want it to be a webcam only, so that it's just them talking? and their face. You see them or whatever they get into the frame, if they're standing or if they're demonstrating a physical activity or something like that, webcam only, or screen only, but microphone audio. So you won't see their faces, but you'll hear their voices and it will capture their screen. So this is good if you've assigned students to do their own Google Slides presentation and now you want them to record it. It will record their screen while they talk, and as they click, it will go to the next slide and it will capture their voice. So I chose webcam only for the assignment that you did. So pick the type that you want. This next button will change to either orange or blue. I don't remember which. So hit next. Give the assignment a name, provide some instructions, hit next, and then adjust the settings. Now, notice that you could set it up so that students can view the videos. You can also set it up to anyone with the link can submit, but it's a pull down, so you can make some other choices here. Also, you can decide whether or not you want to be notified when a video is submitted. If you teach secondary and you're assigning all 165 kids a video and it's due in the next 2 days, you probably don't want to bother getting email notifications because you know they're coming. But maybe it's an option maybe it's one of 3 ways students can do their work and they have a week to do it or 2 weeks. Then you might want those email notifications so that you know to go back to your Screencastify account and check those assignments. Hit next. And then share the link, and we're going to talk about the folder location in a second, but it's actually creating the videos. It made a folder in Google Drive for you. It's holding them all there for you to take a look at. You can copy this link and put it in Seesaw. If you're using Google Classroom, just click the Google Classroom button and it will allow you to create an assignment in Google Classroom. The videos will not be in Google Classroom. It's just making a doorway to take the students from Google Classroom to the Screencastify Submit assignment. All of their work will be in the Google Drive folder that it created for you. Preview your assignment. And then on that submit page, you just saw where I was there, where there's the assignment. It's open right now. It was created on this date. There was 1 submission at the time of doing this. Copy the link if you need to, if you haven't already shared it. Edit if you need to by clicking on the 3 dots. 3 dots always mean click here, there's more. So edit or close the assignment because you want to make a new assignment for another group of students or for the same group. Students will have to allow the microphone, right? And it tells them that. So they do need to allow it in order for the assignment to work. And then here is kind of the order that you just went through in case you want to share this with your students. You're going to have to allow it, click record, listen to yourself, hit submit, and then you'll get a confirmation. In my Google Drive, all of a sudden, miraculously, there was a Screencastify Submit folder that was created for me the minute I opened up Screencastify Submit and created an assignment. That Screencastify Submit folder will hold every assignment I create inside its own folder. So Screencastify Submit created a folder called Demo Assignment, and everybody who submits a demo assignment will now have a little video icon with their name, their email address, and I can just click on that to watch their videos. So we'll see that now. So hold on, let me close some things because I got a lot happening over here. Okay, so let's go to my drive. Oh, look at my drive, thank you. So I'm gonna go to my drive and we're gonna go all the way down to, hold on a second. We're going to go to, that's interesting. Hold on a second. It's not loading my drive correctly. It stopped at G and didn't load the right. There's the rest of my folders. Okay. Screencastify Submit is going to be right here. Inside there's my demo assignment. And here are your assignments. I think it's interesting that it says, well, we have 1, 2, 3, and then a whole bunch that I did while I was practicing back on the 15th. And then Josh came to one of my other sessions on this. So I can play any of these, right, that I want to. Okay. So let's go to the chat. Yes, yeah, Tammy, that's a great idea. So if you're a secondary teacher and you have class periods, first period, second period, you're giving them the same, well, oh, that's not a great idea. Okay, yes and no. So,
but I have to give each assignment a new name or attach the class period
not
to
only that, but remember you can only have one open assignment at a time in the free version. So you would have to either toggle between, like, period 1 is going to do theirs on Monday, period 2 is going to do it on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Because you'd have to toggle it and turn period 1 off, turn period 2 on.
That makes sense. So you can save them in there. You just have to toggle only one on at a time.
Only one can be active at a time. Yes, unless you pay for a license. Or if it's the same assignment, like they're all answering the same prompt, you could choose to put them all in here, just knowing that they're not going to sort by period. And that's very sad and not nice. So those are kind of the two options, or really three options, right? Toggle on and off, and like give each period a different day to do it, so you have a chance to toggle, right? So toggle on and off is one option. Have them all put it in the same one is the other option, or buy the license is the third. Okay. Let's see, back where we left off. Here we go. Okay, so we actually, this is perfect. We ended, well, you know, with 5 minutes. That's not bad. So if you wanted to, you could actually start playing with this while we still have some time, or if you need to take more of a break, we can do that as well. But I do have some reminder of the steps here to make your own short video, or you could make your own submit assignment. And then I have here a link for you to evaluate this session. And later I will add a new slide in here with the recording for this, session. I'm also going to put in here the original support document that I have for Screencastify. It actually went along with what I was doing last spring, where I wasn't just talking about Screencastify, but kind of in general how to make video lessons, and Screencastify was the main tool that I talked about. So I will add this slide deck and the recording of this to that support document, and I will put a link to that support document in this slide deck as well, so that you have everything. Anything else?